I have always loved Van Gogh's sunflowers. Van Gogh painted this in 1988 in Paris as part of a series of sunflowers. And if you look at this painting that's become so famous all over the world and is now worth millions, you'll see that there is a lot of detail, but it's more about spontaneity. I think spontaneity, joy, and a lot of paint. That's actually the secret to this technique. So try and put a lot of paint on your brush, and then you want to move the paint, swirl the paint around, leaving all the thick paint in the brush stroke. So it's this little dance between what will the paint naturally do on your brush, a little dance between the paint, your paper, your brush, and then the motion of your hand. I'd say that's how people describe his technique, these swirling brush strokes, and then what they call an impasto painting technique, which just talks about the thickness of the paint. You can almost feel the wind going through the sunflowers or the sun falling on it. Yeah, so I love that. I read somewhere this specific bright yellow pigment was recently discovered in Paris during the time that Van Gogh worked, and that he loved this pigment. I'm not sure how much pigment cost at those days and how he could afford it, but he obviously fell in love with this pigment, and you can see it all over his work. And he would describe the yellow as sunshine yellow, and with these sunflowers he wanted to express gratitude and a joy for life. Now, we all know he had some really dark periods in his life, but he also had a lot of joy. So he felt all his emotions very intensely. Sometimes I think he was a little bit tortured by his emotions. So try to have fun while you do it. So then your joy will go into your brush stroke. So forget about the outcome, forget about what you would like it to look like at the end. And I find almost your first stroke is the best. If I go back in and try and refine it too much, then I almost lose some of the edges. The other thing I love about this sunflower is these little sunflowers. You can see that Van Gogh used the back of his brush instead of the front of his brush. And I think that's so telling of the kind of person or artist he was. He lived life almost the wrong way around. He did everything different from what was conventionally expected of him, and I relate to that. So I also live life the wrong way around some days. So first apply some nice thick paint, and this is more the ochre colors, and then turn your brush around and just stroke your brush through the paint, using your hand to create the little leaves, the motion of the little leaves. Doesn't have to be perfect, it's just giving a little edge. So that created a lot of texture in his work. I love using the back of my brush and then scraping my way through the paints. It's nice and therapeutic. Yes, and then I think if your sunflowers make you smile, then you have created a masterpiece.